When it comes to baking for their kids, no one does it better than Mom. As a pastry instructor, published author, and award-winning chef, I feel it's important to always remember how it all started. Family traditions and baking with my mom is where it all began. In this series, I bring together my love of homemade bakes with a pinch of culinary creativity. Join me, Aaron McInnes, and my special guests as they share their family recipes with me on baking it up a notch. Ray has invited us to her home in Cape St. George. Located in the southwestern tip of the Port-au-Port Peninsula, this breathtaking area is rich with history and culture, and I know Ray's cookies are sure to delight. No matter how old we get or how far we travel, nothing beats coming home and sitting down with a hot cup and a lovingly prepared treat. Today we're in Cape St. George, and I'm here with Ray. She's prepared for us some delicious, spicy ginger cookies. Ray, why don't you tell us a little bit about these cookies?
These are actually a favorite of my grandmother's. She's actually passed on now. When she was at the nursing home, she'd be like, bring those spicy ginger cookies. So Mom would whip up a batch, she'd have my recipe, and she'd make a batch, and she'd bring them out to Granny, and then Grammy, she liked to push Mom's buttons. She'd be like, they're not as good as Ray's. But you know, they're nothing fancy or anything. They're about 30 years old, the recipe, and we've been making them ever since.
They look pretty fancy to me, and I know just from the smell, they're incredible. I'm ready to dig in. If you want to grab one, I'm gonna grab one because I want to taste these bad boys before we bake them up a notch.
Cheers.
Cheers. They do not disappoint. The smell is very inviting to begin with.
Thanks.
And then you have the crispy edges and the chewy center. All right, Ray, we'll get this plate of cookies put to the side because today I'm gonna take your recipe and I've made a couple small tweaks, nothing serious, and we're gonna turn these into a spicy ginger whoopie pie.
Awesome, that sounds cool.
All right, Ray, let's grab our aprons so we can start baking it up a notch.
Cool.
Ray, we have all the ingredients here, and I'm sure most of them look very familiar to when you go to make these cookies. And I've just taken your recipe and I've done a few minor tweaks to it to turn them more into a cake-like cookie so that we can make that whoopie pie. So we've got our flour and a bunch of different spices.
Bit of cloves in there, there's some cardamom in there.
All of those spices play so good together and make such a delicious dessert. I love fall and fall flavors and fall spices, so like this was right up my alley when you told me this is what you wanted to make.
Well, the smell is amazing, so.
It is, that alone is incredible. And then in this bowl now, we'll go and we'll add our melted butter and brown sugar. I'm gonna kind of whisk that if you wanna crack that egg up there for me. And Ray, so you said this is your recipe.
Yeah.
Is it one that you developed, or was it given to you, or something that you kind of tweaked a little bit?
It's about 30 years old. I don't actually remember where I got it from, to be honest with you.
And sometimes that doesn't matter, does it? As long as it's good.
That's right.
And people keep asking you to bring it.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about your gram, because you know, she sounds like a really funny lady.
We'd be over visiting her in the nursing home. My daughter, she'd be like in grade 12, you know, 17 years old. And Grammy would like look at her and go, you married yet? And you know, Sophie would be like, no. And then Grammy would quip back at her, it's not worth it, don't do it.
Right, yeah. A good shot of alcohol in there too.
Yum.
Bit of brandy today. And I never measure vanilla with a spoon, I don't know about you. I like to just call it measuring with your heart.
Yep. Use your eyes.
Use your eyes. And Ray, growing up, were you in the kitchen a lot? Like, where did your love for baking or cooking come from?
Basically from my mom. Yeah, I was in the kitchen a lot. She's a really good cook herself, and I mostly learned off of her.
Truly, that's where I learned. You know, my passion came from was getting in there with her and learning the beginning stages, I guess, of cooking and baking. So I'm just folding the dry in with the wet ingredients there now. So we added some molasses and some buttermilk. So that batter now, obviously we wouldn't be able to make this into a cookie now. It's pretty wet. You could actually bake this off as a gingerbread cake if you wanted to. I like cake we can carry with us anywhere we want to go. A little cake in your pocket never hurt.
Never hurt no one, no.
All right, if you want to grab the tray for me there with the scoop, we're just gonna take this and you can scoop some of these right onto our parchment lined tray. There you go. Space them out a bit because they will spread.
Okay.
There you go. And we'll need 2 for every sandwich, right? We got a top bun and a bottom bun, and we can literally fill these with anything we want. Cream cheese would be delicious, but today we're gonna go with a cinnamon buttercream to go right in the middle. But I gotta say, the white pepper is a super great extra ingredient to be in there.
Well, the black pepper is a little bit too sharp,
right?
I find, so I find the white pepper works.
It's a wonderful addition. It's a great choice to have for us, especially if you're calling it a spicy gingerbread cookie, right? So we have our oven preheating at 325, and we're actually gonna bake them for 10 to 12 minutes. And when they come out, they're gonna be about twice their size in roundness. While they're baking, we're gonna make some buttercream.
Cool.
Right, let's get them in the oven.
Yummy.
Right now we're gonna start on some buttercream to go in between our 2 cake sandwiches. I know your recipe generally has your cookie dough rolled in the cinnamon sugar before you actually bake them, which is what helps give that crispy outside, which is why I chose to go with the cinnamon filling, because it just kind of mimics that cinnamony flavor on the outside. So into the mixer, I just put some shortening and some butter. The shortening just helps with stability. All right, Ray, we look like we're getting nice and fluffy there to start, so I'm gonna just scrape my sides, and we can even see like butter tends to be yellow.
Yeah.
Right, so it's starting
It's
to lighten
all
up,
turned white.
which is exactly what we want, and that helps us have a nice fluffy buttercream in the very end. We're gonna add a bit of milk here now, and we're gonna get it going again for another 5 to 7 minutes. I'm gonna start with a couple tablespoons, and if we need to adjust it once the sugar is in there, then we'll add a little bit more. And of course, what's buttercream without a good splash of vanilla? Okay, so now we have our vanilla, our milk, and our fats all nice and creamed up. We're gonna add in about 2 pounds of powdered sugar. All right, so we don't want a big puff of sugar, so we might want to stand back for that. There we go. Nice and slow so that we don't wear it. And finally, some cinnamon, okay? Because we're gonna mimic that outside exterior that's on your original cookies. I'm gonna put a good hefty dose in there. Okay, well, Ray, I think we're ready to get those whoopie pies out of the oven and get to assembling them. Ray, we have all the components we need now to get these whoopie pies assembled. I've got a piping bag here. I'm not gonna use a piping tip because we're just gonna pipe a good amount of buttercream inside. I'm gonna fill that up with this delicious cinnamon buttercream.
These are gonna be good.
I have to agree. Just to finish them up for the very end, we're gonna melt up some white chocolate into another piping bag and give them a nice good drizzle. So obviously we wanna make sure these are nice and cool before we go and put some buttercream in them, right? We don't want the buttercream to just melt out, and we wanna match them up a little bit.
That makes
Make
sense.
sure we have good shapes. But I think 2 to go to start with would be great because there's just 2 of us, right?
That's right.
For now, anyway. So our buttercream's in the piping bag. I'm just gonna pipe a good, I'd say dollop, but it's a nice good swirl there in the middle. We'll fill that, and then we sandwich them together, just like that. And when our chocolate's done, we'll drizzle it over the top. But if you would like to try filling those 2, I'll check on the chocolate. How about that?
That sounds cool to me. These are so cute. Well, I'm not as good as you at doing this, that's for sure.
That looks perfect. Once you sandwich it together, who's gonna know?
There you go. Want the other one done too?
Yeah, let's do the last one too.
All right.
Look at that healthy dollop of buttercream.
Yeah, getting better at it.
Perfect. So Ray, our chocolate's nice and smooth now. I got another piping bag here. This one's a little thinner, which is great for chocolate. Not so good for buttercream, it's too thick. We'll get it right into that bag there.
You got skills.
Done this a few times over the years, hey? Look at that.
Oh.
Some chocolate right over the top. I don't know about you, Ray, but the smells, the sights are just making me want to dig in. So I'm gonna choose this guy right here, which is one of the ones that you piped out, so that's perfect. And you take your pick of your favorite looking one.
These are so cute.
And I'm gonna warn you, it's gonna be very messy,
Yeah.
but nothing delicious isn't messy.
Let's dig in.
Let's have a cheers.
Cheers.
Oh,
These are so good.
oh, the cakiness of those cookies just by the few little changes in the recipe,
Oh, they're right soft and chewy.
mixed with the creaminess and the spice in that buttercream, and just that sweetness of the chocolate on top.
Oh, it's perfect.
Ray, thank you for inviting me into your kitchen today. It's been an absolute pleasure baking with you. I know I look forward to eating the rest of this and getting a hot cup of tea to enjoy with it.
Oh, that sounds so good. I'm so glad you could come. This was so much fun. And these look so cute and they're so delicious. Thanks again.
I'm glad you like them. Once again, friends, thank you for joining us. Have a sweet day.